Welcome to Dungeon Damsels, everyone. This is our 5e homebrew game run by me, Tiffany. You can find us on Dungeon_Damsels on Twitter and Dungeon Damsels in podcast form. Let's go and do some quick intros. Amelia says, "Hi, I'm Amelia. I play Ari, who is an arcane elf. That's a homebrew race. She is a sorcerer, and you can find my work at Amelia Pendraws." Okay, let's go over to Kenneth.
Alright, I'm Mckenna. I play Luna, a resident paladin, and I currently have a cute cat on my lap as she's keeping me very warm, but she's also clawing me a little bit, so
Okay, Michael. Michael says, "Hey everyone, I'll be playing Ellie. You can find my stuff at Robosardia on Twitter, and I'm a druid." Alright, and Serena.
Hello everyone, my name is Serena. I am our Drow Eldritch Knight, and you can find me and my art at Slothy Claws on Instagram or Pixiepocalypse on Twitter.
Okay, yeah, everyone is stuffed with great food from the party, and then more food from the after party at Ari's place, and I'll do a quick recap as to what is happening.
Highlight the food! Oh, yes, the food!
Insert montage of everyone's food here.
Last week, the Damsels finally got the keys to the Fae prison and released Arturo's mom. They were faced with the questions on where to go. Luna and Kira suggested Verkus, Luna's hometown, as Luna should be getting back there for her trial anyhow. The party then realized they could be easily pegged with kidnapping an imperial arcanic princess, so Ari suggested they return to the castle where she resides.
It's not intentional, but it's still happening.
This message home, right?
Yeah.
It's a happy coincidence.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're just getting milk. It might take a few years.
But the destination decided, the two archfey cast planar jump, and the party teleported back to the material plane. While traveling across the plains, Kira was reminded of her little friend, and decided to house itself inside her. She felt eyes. Thousands of eyes suddenly turn and look at her. Then they arrive at the portal chamber of Ari's home and notice the abundance of curtains.
I like to think that since we're changing behind the curtain, we're changing just in front of an open window.
But no one's up this high,
No.
so it's just clear than us.
These are pointless curtains to cover the marble walls.
The curtains are put to use as temporary changing rooms. As Ari cooks up a plan to deceive her family, the group decides that Luna will pose as a pen pal of Ari and Elendriel, her maid. Then Deirdre and her stepchildren, Nualia and Theron, will be introduced as visiting nobility as well, and Kira will pose as Deirdre's bodyguard. It didn't work as planned because Elendriel had told Ari's brother, the Emperor, about their adventures and who they were.
In a heartwarming tell-all. It's much like an interview. Just thought, may as well just really show how punchy and plucky I am.
I just like making friends. When I make friends, I tell them everything.
He also noticed that his magic augmentation chamber room had been completely trashed in Ari's initial jettison into the Feywilds. So the party was allowed time to stay at the palace under Ari's guest list. Artius, Ari's brother and current emperor of the Arcanic Empire, then asked everyone to come individually for interviews to get a better idea of who was going to be around his precious baby sister, since apparently they were going to be staying. But the opening scene isn't that. This is a cutaway shot deep in the icy tundra where the snow fields glisten in the moonlight and the air is cold and sharp enough to cut. In those intense winter conditions lies a village of houses made of ice. Inside, the thick-furred people of the Minotaur live. There is a funeral pyre. The elder had died of a ripe old age. The tribe had long awaited this day and were peacefully coming to terms with the passage of this grand individual. The ceremonies were done to bless the body and send the spirit to the heavens. When there's a scream, everyone looks around. Everyone whispers, "What was that?" And their eyes turn to the pyre to see their beloved elder, believed to be deceased, claw at the sky, apparently alive and burning. Some gawk in horror, some leap into action, pulling the body off the pyre. The healer is being shaken. How could you make this mistake? They shake their heads. No, the elder was dead. Meanwhile, in the far-flung Rishi Isles, Rahim and Terrafont sleep under the starry sky. Rahim and the monastery are making progress on the islands and building the new temple for the rising dawn, and Terrafont had been busy supplying water to the locals all day with spells. Rahim sits at their campsite, a well-used tent under a wooden shelter, and Terrafont cooks up a vegetable stew. They enjoy a playful rapport as Rahim reenacts the event of the days with his usual vivid grandeur, when they hear footsteps. A dwarf with a puff of black hair and dark skin runs up to the party. Come, quickly, we don't know what to do. Terrafont looks up. What? Rahim blinks. What's going on? Is it Henna again? The dwarf shrugs. Oh, kind of. We thought she passed. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not that. We thought she'd passed, and now she's up again. Rahim looks to Terrafont, and the old turtle says, well. He gets to his feet and balances on his cane. This is a new one. Then across the ocean, onto the sandy Javed Desert. The war wages on. The Sun Elf Empire, emboldened by the Elven Principality, rides into battle astride horses to meet the Confederacy in full. Orcs, dragonborns, dark-skinned humans, half-elves, vampires, and even a handful of drow wield weapons and throw themselves into battle. Blood soaks the freezing sand of the desert as the darkness of the night pours across the battlefield. The battle wanes and waxes until there's a small break in the fighting. Both sides have retreated to a shelter, and it was then that the dead began to rise. Lost monstrosities roam the fields, groaning in misery and confusion. What witchery is this? Another Sun Elf soldier fires an arrow. Sire, they won't die. Across the field in the Confederacy, Captain, the enemy has reinforcements, I think? What do you mean? Well, just some of them are ours? And that finishes the cutaway scene. Luna, we will now retroactively enact your interview with the Emperor. No pressure, your dad's a lord, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
You're my pen pal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You are led to a small room with table and chairs. The small room is well furnished. There are elegant paintings of landscapes, and the stone floor leads to a window. Behind the two chairs, the Emperor sits at the... Actually, in one of the chairs, the Emperor sits at the end with one of his attendants, Taliki, or Talikia, she goes by both. She introduces herself as Talikia, his court mage. The Emperor looks up at you and says, sit, please. He studies you for a brief moment and opens with, I would like to confirm a few things at first. I trust that you have a pedigree I could examine.
Yes.
He takes it and studies it thoroughly. The Arnors have a unique bloodline. It's not often you find much like us in the upper echelons. He hands it to Talikia. Well, it looks official to me, but Taliki, please use identify on this. Certainly, sire. Starts to cast. Now I have other stories I want to clarify. He waves his hand and there's this illusory document that appears in front of you, too. This is a copy of the report I got from Agent Rathi. It identifies Elendriel as a spring Eladrin with a gift for druidic magic, a blonde monk named Kayanthi, a half-elf female with dark hair by the name of Tarina, of whom he suspects is of some nobility. Turns out he was right. And lastly, a tall half-elven woman by the name of Luna Arnel, who had the abilities of a druid as well. Are you the Luna in this report?
I am, though I don't practice druid craft anymore.
The quills. A quill starts to scratch on a slim stone tablet nearby that Talikia is holding.
Just before he calls me out as lying or anything. It's like putting that out there.
Well, that explains one thing. And is it true that you helped aid and abet arcane elves Kennars, Dleba, Farius Rathi and Nortilius Aquilin.
Yes.
Is it true that you and your party fled with the Arcanic contingent into the sewers where you were pursued by the war matron and she subsequently killed Tarina?
Yes.
You and your party then escorted the Arcanic contingency through the underground walkways, picked up a drow deserter
Yes.
named Kira Slanahod, and delivered the Arcanic contingency to the Arcanic borders.
Sounds like you're educated on this situation.
Let's just say Elendril had a lot she wanted to tell me.
Ellie is very, very thorough. Ellie really, really wanted him to tell him.
I wrote it down. I even had it published.
We were fighting for a minute. Ellie had so much time to just fill him in every nook and cranny.
Well, my animal spirits fight. I don't, so I spend that time writing down our adventures.
Well, according to Miss Burke's report, and thereafter you were attacked by Kendra, the Beast Queen, and her party, where you became wolfy, quote, where you became, quote, wolfy, but not in a good way, unquote.
Very nicely put, Ellie.
She has a unique way of putting things.
Yes. Yes, she does.
I meant nice wolf, but she turned into a mean wolf, like one that kills people.
I've since received treatments.
In the other room, for some reason, Ellie's doing this, and Kara's like, what are you doing? What? Why? What are you doing?
Nothing. I could feel someone looking at me.
I assume this is a contraction of the lycanthropic curse. Then we do bear partial responsibility. You then entered Queen Traber's estate with your party, freed one of the prisoners, and fled the scene with Ari, whereas illegal immigrants, you came through a personal portal and attempted to fool me. I'm not sure if I should reward you or if I should arrest you.
Or break even.
I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
You just like Borealis with that last statement.
Why choose? Why not both?
Arresting and then pardoning. It'll be a full afternoon. So many costume changes.
Here's a ticket. Yahtzee.
Oh, I get to mark that off of my Arcane Empire bingo card. Lie to the sovereign, get arrested, get pardoned. We should all have bingo cards.
To be frank, like, fooling you had nothing to do with it. It really wasn't on our minds.
You actually get a small smile out of Artius. Trust me, I am well aware of Ari's persuasive abilities. She could talk a dragon out of its hoard. But moving on, I understand you have a court date regarding the death of a young woman in Hillock, and this was under the duress of your lycanthropy. Now, regarding your previous actions, I would reward you, but the Empire has no official rewards for foreigners, so I will propose a trade. You will have access to the medical and legal archives we have on lycanthropy. Additionally, I will arrange for the transportation of 3 witnesses or experts on the subject of your condition to augment your arguments in court.
Okay, so, like, is he thinking from, like, the Arcanic Empire? Like, I grab our buddies?
Find the Beast Queen. It was her. She did it.
Okay. Thank you.
Last course, Elendril spoke very highly of you. It's obvious to me that she looks up to you, and I simply ask that you lend a hand in her growth as a leader. Ari can character Elendril in many ways of court conduct, but Ari also misses the intricacies of double speech in nobility. Something your sharp tongue is adept at. I can tell through this conversation alone. The last request is a letter of introduction for your father, Lord Aranel.
Dad. Immediately, Dad.
If Ari is going to be around you, we might as well make it official. And I honestly won't complain about having connections in Leicester.
Understood.
Talikia then passes the pedigree back. It's authentic, Emperor.
Imagine if it was fake at this point, though.
Yeah. I'm sorry, this production is not.
This just is written in crayon on the back of the Denny's menu.
Luna's been lying about her background for like 3 years now in this campaign.
Oh no, I can't that because my brother drew a really nice butt on it. But my real one is actually in his sketch folder at home. Let me just call my boyfriend to see if he'll set it up.
Okay, moving on. He stands and offers a handshake. I look forward to working with you, Lady Arnold.
You as well.
Your pedigree is returned to you, and you are able to walk back to the party. Ellie is recounting the tales of chasing Luna. Yeah, so we had to chase her down to the beach. And those people were following us. There was a lot of blood. And then Ari says, wow, I mean, she didn't mention any of that in her letters.
Ari just straightens significantly. She didn't say any of that in her letter. Kiara was playing the flute nice and calmly when he did that. There's a sharp note that just
Like a record scratch.
It was just like she laughed and it's like, and then it goes back to it.
Next, the team is in the after party, socializing, having a good time. Nualia is at the food table stuffing her face. Theron is trying to do damage control. Deirdre got really drunk and started to flirt with the harp player and wasn't feeling it, so she moved on to the guards. Arturo and his mom asked if they could go to their rooms and talk because, you know, they got a lot to cover. Artius returns to the room after the interviews are done and is speaking with Tilikia. Arya then walks over and whispers, "Can we have a sleepover?" There's a pause, and he responds, "I mean, as long as it's in your room. But I'm not having it in mine." Ari, "You should join us." Artius, "No."
He's like floating out of the room. He like levitated.
Yeah, no, he's an introvert who went to 2 parties. He's done.
Just to go facing through the wall.
Cut to Ari's room.
We're all in pajamas.
I'm just seeing like the Sims as they like spin around, like.
Ari just like waltzes into her little closet, pulls out a bunch of pajamas, and is like, "Here, you can have that. You can have that. This one's way too big for me, so you can have that."
Yeah, Kiara like, thank you.
Nualia takes one look at Ari's super fluffy plush bed and just immediately launches onto it. Yes!
So some leaves like right off of her too.
That's new. Just.
'Cause she's a little wet.
Yeah, exactly. Leaves just. Theron kind of just scoots into the room. He is handed a frilly pink nightgown. Looks at it. Okay, I guess I'm doing this. And he turns around to change into the frilly pink nightgown. He turns around and he goes, well, I mean, it's a little long, but...
Oh, you look great!
Nice.
Who thought I could pull off Arcanic Princess so well? Next, Ari orders a servant to go and bring them snacks and chips and all the fun stuff for the sleepover. The servants return with an assorted platter of meats because their arcane elves are largely carnivorous. You know, they eat things like wheats and fruits and vegetables occasionally. Like it's not but it's not like actually part of their like needs. They just eat them for fun. Same with like sugar. And but not all of Ari's guests are arcanic, so they bring grapes. They bring up some some breads and some cheeses, which is pretty rare. That's usually a bit of a delicacy in the Empire. And there's also a little tray of molasses candies.
With hunting being like a big deal in Luna's culture, she's pretty excited to try the meat here, like what they do with it.
The Arcane Elves' main food group is meat. I classify them as carnivores, but they're technically omnivores because their diets are 80% meat and 20% everything else. Anyway, they prepare meats in a variety of ways, often dried so it can be preserved long term. But other common preparation styles include stir fry, fry, and smoked. But, I mean, pretty much all types of cooking are used. It just depends on the region.
It's all Kobe. It's Kobe all the way.
Ari lights a candle and puts it in the middle of the floor. Now we can tell ghost stories. And Theron is immediately invested. You see him just rise from the back.
I'll do you one better. I'll tell you about my ex-boyfriend.
And like, what's great is if the camera angle is just so slow. And you can just go raises up, like raises like the Loch Ness monster from Pillows. Yes. Yeah, it's just
Here's the story.
Who's first? All of you.
Well, there was this one time that we went to an abandoned fort. We had to get in so we could actually cross the bridge because it was being haunted. And inside was a bunch of undead dwarves. Ooh!
I like to think
These
that they all
undead
cast fairy
dwarves.
lights too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I cast dancing lights and like my little fairy friends are going ooh, ooh.
Some of them look like boo ghosts too. Like it's just because they're going so fast they look like boo ghosts.
Ellie recounts the events from episode 18. She lights up the room with dancing lights, and they cast mysterious shadows along the walls. Ooh. She tells them the tale of the Frostbrand Fort, where the ghosts of the past still waited. They entered the fort after being strong-armed by bandits to help them lift a curse on them. To do so, they had to enter the fort and defeat the evil inside. Alphonse, the human spirit caller, and his spirit friend Cryptid were there too as representatives of the bandits to make sure that the job was done. The Damsel team consisted of Ellie, Tarina, Luna, and Kayanthi. Actually, I think Adlona was there too. They investigated the fort and discovered that it was indeed haunted by ghosts, but the curse originated from a demon who called himself the Laughing Man. After they defeated him, the curse was lifted so they could continue into the Underdark.
So it's just a very unintelligible story, just like jumping to facts. Like, oh wait, and one more thing. And there was the reason we went to this fort is there was a bunch of other people. They were trying to cross the bridge, but the dwarves kept them here, and they cursed them. Ooh, yeah, they weren't allowed to leave. They couldn't cross the bridge if they wanted to. Every time they tried to cross, they got lost in the fog. Oh yeah, there was fog.
Kiara just and she has like a pear in her hand because she's just eating all the different fruit. She's like, this is interesting. Oh no, you have any stories?
Unless you want to hear more crap about Odo, so you can hate him even more. I don't really have much going on other than this one time that like my grandson went to another plane, and then it looked like he and his wife like pissed off some sort of fiend somewhere, and then they decided to take revenge on my great granddaughter and killed all of her kids one by one with diseases. That was really sad.
Theron scoots closer to the group, clearly excited for ghost stories. Kira opens up her story. So, there's of course your minor assortment of monster things, like spider, things with large grabbing teeth. However, the thing you have to worry about are these little dancing lights on a black pond. As she says this, her own dancing lights flit around her hand. Now, it's not a problem if you're in a group, but when you walk across the great divide of the pond, you have to keep your eyes up, because on the water you may see your own reflection. However, anyone who has been lost to the pond stays with the pond, so you don't die there. And if you see your reflection, the lights will come close enough to take your face.
And then like the lights that were like around her face that were like intense just go black. Just like it is sometimes safer in the dark. And then like the lights pop, and then like she makes the lights pop, and goes boom. But that was really that one made me cry when I was younger. She was so much the little drow kid told her, and she was really little. She's like, I don't want to go to the lake. This is terrible. She just reflects to like little her being like, I'm gonna go sit on the shoreline, or I'm gonna go hug a stalactite, or I'm just gonna go back to my room. Thank you, bye. Great story. Come on, Oculus, let's go.
Ellie's just having flashbacks of, come on, let's just cross this water. No.
I'm not doing it.
Ah.
Is it part of her fear? Is it part of the fact that she couldn't swim at the time? We're not sure. Are they related? Questions.
Ari. So I have a story, and it's about this very castle. 100 years ago. Before my brother was even born, there was the lady with long, dark hair, and she was queen. She always wore dark dresses, which made her face look super pale. And she'd walk the halls in her stiletto heels. Click, click, click. And even now, if you listen carefully, you can hear them still.
So she's like looking out for you guys. That's sweet.
Can I make a perception check? I tilt my head like towards the door.
Ellie, you place your ear on the door and listen carefully to the hallway outside. Ari cast minor illusion.
Guys, she's right there. And I literally fall from like the pillows because I'm like
Scramble behind
Why are you freaking out so much?
lunging as far as I
goes rushing
can.
towards the door.
Door closed.
Why are you guys freaking out so much?
She probably wants to me.
Ghost.
Yeah, it's a ghost.
Oh well, I guess we're not ghosts.
Yeah. This is just completely baffling to Luna because she's like, we worship our ancestors and we're like happy to see the ghosts. We're like, well, so maybe it doesn't always mean that there's good news, but like, yeah. She went to all this work to come visit you as a ghost. Like, be grateful, Kelly.
Did I mention she sucks out your soul?
Why? Why would she do that?
Kiara laughs evilly because she finds this great. She's like,
So guys, I have one more horror story, and she like looks around and she looks kind of nervous, and it's happening right now. There's a particular Eladrin elf who's been receiving letters, almost.
So she has the whole alphabet.
And pulls out like 30 letters. She's received so many letters from her boyfriend and she hasn't written him back yet. I don't know what to say to him.
Maybe hi, bring you back, and then nothing else.
So maybe I should just
Say,
maybe I should soften the. What was that?
maybe you can say, hey, little busy right now, I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay. I was thinking of opening up with a joke.
BRB.
Hey, Venaris, I'm sorry I haven't written back. I'm arcane. I'm doing arcane.
I think
Get it?
I think
this sounds great, but you can at least start with a hi.
Hey, babe.
Hi, this is Tiffany, your GM. Thank you for watching. You can find us on YouTube and in podcast form. We do not stream because it just hasn't worked out in our test runs. But regardless, we thank you for listening. We update when I can. My work and my life keeps me from editing, and my non-detail-oriented mind keeps editing hard. I have to re-record my lines or sometimes someone else's lines, and that's why the updates are taking so long. And it's very specific, the work, so I can't really delegate it. Anyway, thank you for bearing with us, and we hope to hear from you soon.